on the verified Nelfund X handle. You can visit it at your convenience to also fact check some of these letters. In conclusion, it's always best to hear two-sided reports other than you making comments on the program to comments for the disbursements. How do you feel when letters are written to your office commending your efforts?
Well, first of all, let me thank those institutions that are acknowledging payment. These are extremely important pieces of evidence to show the public that this is a program that the President wants to be run as transparently as is humanly possible. The reason it's critical for this transparency to be there is because we do need private sector support for the education of Nigerians. The demand is probably going to be too large in the long run for government alone to participate in. And there must be a bridge of trust between the private sector and the public sector, which we think has been eroded over many decades in this country. The President absolutely wants this to be very transparent. He wants the participation of all. So I thank the institutions profusely. I should be thanking them because they clearly are transparent institutions. They clearly want to show how much they've received, and they clearly want to encourage the administration to carry on with the program. It's extremely important to encourage this administration to carry on driving this program because, you know, these things are very sensitive. If a program isn't benefiting the people, then it's difficult for the administration to continue to support it. If it's benefiting the people and it's transparent and everybody can see what's going on, it's easy to keep writing the checks to support the program. So I would implore those who want this to work to continue to support it despite the challenges that may be faced. Essentially, I don't know, did I answer? There was another question.
Yes, you did. And okay. It's imparting any specific information you want out there as we look forward to more transparency in disbursements.
Yeah, you know, I think, first of all, it's important that people understand that this is a brand new scheme. It's been running for only 2 years. You contrast that with something like NYSC that has been running for, I don't know, 60, 50 something years. And that's sort of starting to motor now. Everybody takes it for granted it works. This has been running for 2 years. And, you know, I must commend, you know, the people internally. So these letters are written to me, but we have people internally who are working very hard. In particular, the engine room of Nelfund is the operations department. And, you know, we have an executive director, Mr. Mustafa Iyal, who has really driven and worked extremely hard to ensure that the processes that deliver this are solid processes. You know, so whilst the letters are written to me, you know, there are other members of management who work very hard to make this happen.
Indeed, very humble of yourself to commend the rest of the team. We must thank you for also the media partnership, always responding to our invitations to come talk to Nigerians and clarify misconceptions where they are. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. It's great to be here, and thank you for promoting this program as positively as you can.
Well, that's it on our discussion with Mr. Akintunde Sawyer, the MD/CE Nelfund, on disbursements on the 2 years since he was appointed in 2024 by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nelfund has disbursed over 303 billion naira to approximately 1.4 million students across 270 tertiary institutions, including monthly upkeep allowances. We'll continue to give you updates on developments with other stories making the rounds. On our concluding discussion, up next is a look at the 2027 polls amid speculations from opposition parties on fielding a single candidate. More on that to come after the break.
And selling includes a fine of 5 million naira, a 2-year jail term, or both. Through strict legislative updates to the repealed Electoral Act 2022 ahead of the upcoming general elections, the National Assembly significantly stiffened these penalties. Under the current legal framework, Section 22 of the new Electoral Act 2026, the fine was escalated from previous limits, which capped punishment at 500,000 naira and 12 months in prison, to not less than 5 million naira and a jail term of not less than 2 years. Additionally, convicted offenders face a mandatory 10-year ban from contesting any election in Nigeria. The stifling penalties apply explicitly to anyone who unlawfully possesses a voter's card, sells or attempts to sell a voter's card, buys or offers to buy a vote, or sells and offers to sell a vote. All voters, if votes don't count, who would try to buy them? Stay updated on our latest series of voter education on the Adbn Enlightenment Campaign.
Welcome to the Niger Delta, a region of incredible beauty and stark contrast. From its breathtaking landscapes to its rich cultural heritage, this is a place where history and modernity collide. But beneath this serene surface lies a story of struggle and resilience. The Niger Delta is the lifeblood of Nigeria's economy, home to vast oil reserves that fuel the nation, yet it is a land where the people fight for their share of the wealth. Join us on the program Niger Delta Today as we explore the heart of the Niger Delta, discover the vibrant cultures, the struggles for environmental justice, and the stories of the people who call this place home. This is the Niger Delta, a land of contrast, a story of. Don't miss our exclusive series, Niger Delta Today, every day at 12 noon, only on Adbn TV. Witness the untold stories, experience the journey, be part of the change.
The global business is never static. Watch the market report on Adbn TV for business information, latest happening business deals, government economic policies, stock, crude oil, and commodity trading and downstick, and the world of organized private sector. The market report showing on Adbn TV 1 to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday. The market report bringing you up to speed in the business world.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on the program this morning as we conclude with a look at the race to the 2027 general elections. The election timetable is fast winding down, and with less than 6 months to 2027, key political parties and opposition figures are beginning to, put their houses in order and grant more media talks as to their agendas and hopes for Nigeria. But overarchingly, it's on the subject that is built on the back of calls for inclusive leaderships to heal Nigeria of its past wounds. Joining me on the program this morning, I have Mr. Nwokocha Kennedy, who is a public affairs analyst. Good morning to you and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Nice to be here again.
Always a pleasure. Your political position is largely known to many who have followed you over a while. You've been supporting the Obedient movement, and now that he is the presidential candidate of the Nigerian Democratic Congress, you're even more under scrutiny following his most recent interview. I've seen some ardent followers of Mr. Peter Obi ask that he refrains from granting interviews in the interim owing to misconceptions. He has made statements like it's impossible to give Nigeria power, stable electricity in 4 years. What do you make of some of the mixed reactions greeting his most recent interview?
Thank you so much for your question, and thank you so much again for having me in your studio today. Nigerians are of different opinions and different motivations, and there is no way P2B will grant an interview that people will not react. And it's good because even bad publicity is also publicity. So, and as you realize, it's only P2B that has, among all the candidates, the one that has been on the public space, going from one state to the other, granting access to press almost on daily basis and speaking not just in Nigeria, abroad, and trying to, speak on Nigerian issues. The last interview was a good one. It was one that they stayed almost 2 hours. But Nigerians, whenever interview is granted, there is always this thing within the ruling party that as if P2B is their nightmare. So whenever there is an interview, they will find ways to actually misconstrue a lot of the things that Mr. P2B said. P2B never said it would be impossible to give Nigeria power. What he was saying is that nobody is saying that in 4 years that he's going to give Nigeria, 24 hours electricity in 4 years. And he did mention that even to build a power plant would take, something like 3 years or something. So if you say that you want to give Nigeria power, that Nigerians should see the process. Like he said, Rome was not built in a day. But the people of Rome saw the foundation being laid. They saw the block being laid brick by brick and not rest. So when the Romans were looking at Rome being built, they were seeing the foundation being built. So that is the point that P2B is. And P2B said, by 4 years, by the time I'm done 4 years, I'll give in at least 10,000. I would have been able to 10,000 produced and distributed. Right now, we are even producing around, but we can't distribute it. So he's saying within 4 years, we'll be able to do that. So they misconstrued it to say, P2B now said it's not possible to. No, nobody has said at any point that in 4 years that Nigeria. But P2B is saying that if you say we are going to Enugu right now, the people you're carrying should see you going to Enugu. But if you say you're going to Enugu and the driver is driving towards Kaduna, then there's a problem. And that is what the ruling party is doing. The ruling party said they are going to give us, steady electricity power. But right now, nothing has happened. No plant is being built by this government. The distribution lines are
They've signed the Nigerian Electricity Act that's giving states the power to also produce.
Right. Even the monies, even the government obligation, the monies they are supposed to pay to this they are owing them billions of. Even Aso Rock, to tell you how bad it is, Aso Rock have disconnected. They've gone to build solar for themselves. That is the tragedy. Like the people you promise constant electricity power, with all these things they are going around saying, Aso Rock have disconnected because Aso Rock cannot even keep up with the payments, they're supposed to, the obligation they're supposed to pay to them. They cannot keep up with the epileptic power supply that these people are supplying. So they've gone to build solar. Use billions of naira to build solar for themselves, and the Nigerian people have been abandoned. So the problem is that I was discussing with somebody yesterday, and somebody said, if there anywhere one part of heaven can fall down, and actually fall down on some of these our politicians, because I don't really know what motivates them. Because the purpose of government is the welfare and security of the people, and this government has failed woefully. What this government did, like what P2B said in that interview, if you say that Nigerians have to sacrifice, that, we need to sacrifice to build for tomorrow, the people of Nigeria should see you sacrificing. It's not when we say sacrifice, tighten your belt, you go and buy private jet. You say, tighten your belt, you go and buy yacht. You say, to go and buy beast.
Now, he also made certain very critical allegations alluding to the fact that he feared for his life and he's not safe, and that each of the business ventures he uses for a means of livelihood are being targeted by the current government. And most particularly, there's been evidence in terms of one of the altercations that happened at the Lagos International Airport where his vehicle was impounded, and right now there are also calls that he goes back and pays the 25,000 naira fee for infringements on the rules for accessing the airport terminal and parkings with leaving the vehicle unattended. Timestamps on the CCTV footage have also showed that his driver indeed left the vehicle for 4 minutes unattended. What do you make of these allegations of a threat to life and unfair treatment in terms of his business ventures?
Nigerians should be grateful for somebody like P2B. He's a very peaceful man. Even some of us get frustrated. Some of us, his followers, get frustrated at times the way he has lived his life. But we are coming to terms with it to say, this is this man's life. If it were to be other Nigerians, some Nigerians, maybe even people like Towore, that had the kind of followership and support that P2B have, by now perhaps Nigeria would have burnt down.
No, it can't be illusions. You can't speak for other people.
No. Even Towore has even said it, that, oh, if he was the one that, had the kind of, what happened. The point I'm trying to make is
but let's speak to the issue here, particularly using the airport incident.
Yes, the threat to, let me address threat to life. P2B has, been through, P2B doesn't say all that happened to him. He doesn't talk about it. Even in that interview, he did not come to that interview to talk about what happened. It was because we were here when Edo, the governor of Edo, made threat to his life, right? And say, oh, before he comes to this thing. Right now, he's a presidential candidate. In other claim, immediately somebody become an aspirant, there should be a security detail to him. We were here when Bola Ige, former Attorney General of this country, died. Nobody has known how political. We know about Funshaw Williams of Lagos, somebody who was meant in 2003, who was supposed to be the governor. A lot of people were rooting for him as he died mysteriously. And so many other political killings. One guy from Rivers State that also died here now. So the idea of political killing in Nigeria is not something that is very new. And P2B has faced threats. And if you see the way they come at him, like, okay, a presidential candidate of P2B standing made a comment that, oh, what an incident
has
in an airport.
Has he filed any official police reports?
In an airport, let me say something.
Before you go to the airport, has he filed any official police reports alleging these threats to life?
These things are public, there's something they call...
Kennedy, you know and I know that the law does not operate in isolation. And even the National Assembly needs petitions to pry into certain sensitive matters.
When the governor of Edo State made the comment that P2B, it's not a hidden something, it's not something, everybody saw it. When he went to Edo State and gunshot, they fired gunshot to where he was. In short, where they did that thing, they came there, fired people, everybody ran away. They also tracked them to the house of the former governor of Edo State, Oyegu, and fired, the cars there were destroyed and not the rest of them. You don't need to file a police report in that kind of incident. This is something that was open, it was done in public, everybody saw it, the security people were there and not the rest of them. So the point we are making is that P2B is a Nigerian citizen, and if he's gearing to want to rule this country, it's his constitutional right to say, I want to lead this country, and I have the best idea on how this country should move forward. It's not a life sentence. It's not something that people will actually now want to kill him for. P2B received threat. Right now, it doesn't. And even the incident you talk about in the airport, one would have expected that the minister, the minister would have called P2B and say, please, can you brief me what really happened? That is a coffee. So that the man would be aware and hear from him. But what the man did was to bring, to go with a police driver, not the rest of them. So, but the minister of aviation would have called P2B and say, please, I heard your interview, please, what really happened? P2B would have briefed him, and then from there he can proceed. But he went and brought a concocted, CCTV footage that does not bear reality to what P2B was saying. Could not have even been the airport, could not have even been the day that P2B was talking about.
Now the likes of Daniel Boala have also knocked the interview. They're calling it...
It's because of the nature of politics in this country that people like Boala continue to be in the public space and people continue to listen. I think it was Ellen G. White that said that the greatest want of the world is not the want of money, but it's the want of men who cannot be bought or sold, men who in their innermost soul are pure. You see, one of the things that make a man is a man that have principle and integrity. Boala does not have any. Boala, for me, is an educated sycophant. I agree that he's educated, but he's educated sycophant. He called the president a criminal yesterday. He calls him a drug baron. He calls him somebody that does not support democracy. He calls him, the next day he's defending the president. So these people are unstable character. Don't talk about Boala. Boala is not somebody we should take seriously. But what we should demand, if journalists like you should demand, P2B has been speaking. Anytime P2B speaks and people say, oh, he didn't address this, he didn't. Let the president that we voted, let him come and speak. The president should come. We did not vote for Boala, we did not vote for Bayo and Ananuga, we did not vote for all these characters that always, fill the public space and make statements on behalf of them. We voted Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu as our president. At least I didn't believe he won the last election, but the court said he won the last. Today, there's nothing we can do about it. So he should come and speak to us. That is the person. Nigerians, you watch politics. You see Trump every day. Even when Trump is traveling, Trump that people say, even when he's traveling on Air Force One, he grants interview, wakes up at night. So the president should come and speak to Nigerians. That is the person we should listen to. Let him come and address some of this problem, addressing security, addressing the bad economic policies, address the problem confronting Nigerians.
Let me understand you correctly, because we've seen a couple of nationwide broadcasts by Mr. President, but the latest was a visit by the Catholic bishops to the Villa yesterday. You would prefer nationwide broadcasts to dedicated visits to key, would I call
this opportunity to have the discussions? Nigeria, a new Nigeria.
All right, Mr. Kennedy. That's it on the Morning Express program this morning. We must go to make way for our sports program that takes the screens at the top of the hour. And off the back of the ongoing WAFCON competition, the Super Falcons of Nigeria, reigning champions, were shocked by Malawi women to a defeat. 3-2 was the scoreline. And questions on preparedness are emanating from different quarters, with some Nigerians going as far as blaming the NFF. But stay with us to find out all of that as Mr. Samuel Adeleke joins us on the program. My name is Beto Bryan, thanking you for your time on the program today. Do also stay tuned and have a nice day.